Communism versus Fascism, bonus round. For those who are now here, first off, this is exactly why I'm doing this series. It is not clear and open for interpretation. I choose to simplify nuanced political and economics into a communist capitalist list, or sphere if you will, versus the rectangle that makes the rounds. What this means is that yes, Starship Troopers is not perfectly communist. I admit this in the second paragraph. What this also means is that I view it as more communist than not. I also, by my own admission, discount fascism as a valid label. However, let's break this down. With regards to the philosophy of the two, it is implied by the fact that this is a glorious action movie that the state is seeking glory through conquest and war. In the book, it is less heavy-handed. If I remember correctly, this is a feature of fascism. I do not see this. The fact that the Mormon colonists were allowed to leave, were allowed to exist, and were eradicated by something other than the government are all strikes against fascism. We are shown an aspect of society that is linked to conquest by the nature of the movie. In fact, I view it as the society as acting defensively. The low motivation for R&D, poor planning of invasions, and the ignorance of the existence of the other race, a known but unresearched quantity, points towards the other end of the spectrum. Additionally, according to Wikipedia, disclaimer, this is not an academic paper, fascism doesn't particularly have specific economic features. With respects to key features, centralized government, double check, planned economy, double check. However, communism is not racist, fascism is. That shower scene seems fairly multiracial to me, as does the military. Furthermore, the sports teams are mixed and gender roles are not enforced. Child licenses are earned, not given. One ruling class, double tick. Dictator, just fascism. Key ideas. Honestly, there is not enough information on how production and factors of production are distributed to come down on either side here. As much as we can say the state dictates production and the focus is on war, we are shown a very brief slice of life of the society. Versus, let's say, 1984, where we see the day-to-day. I see a society where classes make no sense, and people can choose how much responsibility they want, or, as I deliberately interpret, need, as much as my proofreader sees one where civilians can opt out of citizen life and live separate, if inferior, lives. Both are valid interpretations to me, I just lean more to mine. Political system. There is no one single charismatic leader. The leader of the Starship Troopers society is chosen by merit. I'm not referring to the sequel movies, which I enjoyed but exaggerate other areas of the society. For instance, the conclusion of the Johnny Rico saga, at least I think it is, with the anime and the Arachne Queen, has a psychic, charismatic, manipulative Sky Marshal who is still deposed the second her usefulness ends and her duplicity is exposed. In the communist system, there is not supposed to be any central ruling commission. However, in this case, as in all other corrupted forms of communism, one exists. The veterans. Those who choose amongst themselves the best people to lead. There is no evidence of how the veteran political system actually rules in the movie. We only see the military, which is ruled by active duty soldiers. Alternatively, as the word can mean both retired soldiers and also experienced soldiers, then we see a ruling elite comprised of the veterans, which has a structured way of assigning rule and responsibility. It is militaristic by the basis of the founding, not by the basis of fascism, in my opinion. The meteoric rise of Neil Patrick Harris is justified by his merit, taking from his abilities, and not his nepotistic relationships with the Sky Marshals, who are themselves replaced over the course of the movie. And I should stop bringing up the other movies, the sequels as well. Private property. Okay, there is very little evidence of private property in this. Yes, Rico is called a rich boy, however, I have already viewed money as worthless in society. The insult is as meaningless as most playground insults, like calling the one guy a farmer, or big and dumb, in the training scenes. It is what it is. Rico is more motivated by showing off to Denise riches than he is by the insult. Social structure. A little bit out of order just to develop this point more. The dad wants Rico to go to Harvard, to have the ability to work with him at his business. I do not really believe that the dad doesn't own his own business, which does indicate more fascism than communism, since we are only talking about the two here. But since the dad is anti-government and anti-citizens, it would be unlikely that the government would favor the father in any government contracts, a feature of fascism. In communism, each worker is both an owner and an employee, and in communism, you work in what you are qualified to do. Hence, go to Harvard and I will find you a job. How that process is completed is unclear. It could be the father hiring him directly, Rico becoming qualified for the position and automatically shoehorned in, or the father lobbying the other owners to allow Rico to work. Economic coordination, religion, free choice, discrimination, means of control. I have dealt with these either in this section or in the main body. View of the world. Communism is global. This is a global society. View of war. Communism acknowledges war but avoids it. Fascism seeks out war. The military of Earth, or Terra, was defensive in Starship Troopers more than aggressive. In the book, I believe they were more aggressive. But I'm not talking about the book, I'm focusing on the movie. There is no research and development of the capabilities or the hierarchical command structure of the Arachnids until the movie was underway. They were a known species and disregarded. That is not evident of a society that is preparing for or using war as a means of economic motivation. It is not a fascist society. Final point. I think everyone sees where I'm going with this. I am biased. This is my viewpoint. I've already acknowledged that I see this and I don't understand why others don't. In the first sentence, disagree with me in the comments, suggest fixes to my argument, let me know what else you want to see to me. I'm looking forward to it. Next topic, in time, Ready Player One to follow, and somewhere down the line, Cyberpunk 2077.